In this video, we will talk, is AMC now squeezing or not? What was that candle in after hours of GameStop? Does BYND still have to go down? What is FFAI doing? What especially is Fcel doing? And is Trump media ready to squeeze? If you're interested, just stay tuned. So, as always, I'm using this method, the Fractal Method. I made a completely new video. I think it is better explained, and I updated our chart, so it's maybe easier to understand. I will link the explanation video again at the end of the video, or you just search for the playlist Fractal Method. Well, then start with AMC today. So, just a little thing, because everyone who is tracking AMC will see that's not AMC. I will start with the combo chart of AMC and GME, just to maybe prove a point in my theory. But I mean, maybe something is on it. Maybe it's absolutely senseless. But if something is working with this combined chart on AMC plus GME, you will see, of course, parts of AMC in here, and of course, parts of GME in here. And because GME is the bigger stock, GME has a bigger weight on this chart. So, just saying, if you're tracking this combined chart, in 2020 till 2021, this was just our higher low. I mean, this is perfectly what AMC did in 2020, with the difference that we made two higher lows. And then we got our squeeze. And the next difference is that from January 2021 till April 2024, this whole thing is just a higher low. So what we did from April 2024 till today is just a micro higher low to this big higher low. So what's my point? My point is, if you know how my theory works, a higher low, doesn't matter if it's a big one or a small one, it always ending in a V under A or in a 0.789 fib. So for this isn't finished. Yeah, this higher low, which is extremely looking like GME in the last years, still has to come down. To where? Well, it has to come down to the 0.786, which is around $19. And that's the only thing I really want to point out, because of my price targets for AMC and GME to the downside. Because of course, the combined chart is AMC price plus GME price. That means if this combined chart really has to drop to $19, what would be the price of AMC and GME? So in my opinion, for my mind tracking, there's a very, very big point that AMC only has to go to 1.50 or 1.48. I will show that in a second, just to enter higher low. So if this chart has to drop to 19, what would be the price of GME then? Well, you just say the target is $19 on this chart. You take $1 0.50 cents away, and then you get your GME price. And the GME price then would be 70.49. Just saying. I will show that later too. So now we really go to AMC. So here's the whole chart. Just saying, I'm not going through everything today. We are only looking what we did in the last 2 weeks. If you want the whole story, the price targets, if it's a 1-part squeeze or a 2-part squeeze, I will link the last video with the full explanation at the end of the video. Today we just look what we have done today. So here is from last Thursday till today. And I have 3 versions for what could happen in the next 1 to 6 weeks. Yeah? Because I already got the questions, are we now doing version 1 or version 2? Yeah. I have to say, I still leaning to version 2. Yeah. What does it mean? Let's start with version 1. With version 1, we are not going lower than we did today. We would go up from here. We would do our B, pullback, would go up to our C, which would be our A, which in my opinion won't go over $2. Then we do a 0.5 pullback from our V, and then we are ready to squeeze. Just saying, this is nothing you do in next week. I also think it's nothing you do in 3 weeks. Yeah, so the shortest version for this would be end of February. Just saying. And also I have to say, the problem I have with this, we still have to drop to our 0.086. And what I mean with this level here. Because if we are not doing that, it can easily happen that we get to this target, but because we didn't do that, we reject here and do it then. Because we didn't finish the higher low. In that case, we are talking about April for 100% sure. So what I really like to see is we're doing it now. So let's say in the best case till Friday. Yeah? That would mean this was just our T. We didn't broke over the M line, so perfect. Till Friday, I mean we are at 157. We fall under 152, and then we go up. And as I already said in the last videos, if we go under 152, or if we, let's say, on Thursday, we're dropping to 153, I will start my position. Because this drop to 152, 151, 148 can happen after hours. Yeah. If you're after that doing your B and A, fine. But this would still be your buying target. Yeah. So in the best case, we're doing till Thursday. Today is Tuesday, so Wednesday, Thursday. We're dropping down here. I mean, how much is this? This is 3% for AMC in a red market. No problem. What you don't want to break is 145. Yeah. So 145 you don't want to break, but everything over that to 152, this, in my opinion, no financial advice, is your buying target. And you can do what you want. Don't buy weeklies. Okay. Someone asked me today, what would be better, Marches or Junes? Risk management isn't buying far out contracts. It's just waiting for the landmark. Junes would be safer. If you're really doing that till Friday, I would say Marches could be safe too. Yeah, but That's completely your decision. The only alternative for this whole thing would be if you break under 145, I tell you, you will make new lows. And then we have to do the whole higher low thing again. And this would also be April in the best case. Yeah? Otherwise, this looks fucking close and fucking finished. Now we go to GME. So for GME also, if you want the whole story, I will link the last video with the full explanation at the end of the video. Today we are just looking what we did in the last 2 weeks. So, because this after hours candle, yeah, I already see so many tweets, and I bet with you there are already so many videos with we are squeezing this candle. This whole thing is a higher low. It's over. You know me, if you watch my videos, I don't think so. Yeah. Also, if this would be the squeeze before we're tracking, I mean, AMC isn't moving at all. And with the sync theory, that's not possible. And if we are squeezing, why did we reject perfectly this trend line? Also, why is that only a 117K volume? Doesn't really add up. Yeah. So let's start still with the bullish version. Yeah. If we go up from here, and what I mean with that, if you break out of this trend line, yeah, so if you break over 23.55, it's bullish. Yeah. Why ever, it's bullish. Yeah. And in that case, I think the downside alternative is that you would still do something like this. So a 0.5 pullback. In that moment, AMC would be ready to and go. I still don't believe that. Yeah. For me, this is still our M, our last time to sell. This is just our little last time to sell. And with this candle today, because if you watched the last video, of course, my M was here. With this candle today, this was our M. Yeah. And in my opinion, we still have to come down here. 1758. If you remember the calculation I showed you on the combine chart, this makes absolutely sense. Yeah. When the combine chart has to drop to $19, AMC has to stay over 145 to 151. Then GME falls to 70.49, 70.50. Perfect. Also, one thing, because I already hear this never happened before. So, left side, 1 hour chart of today. Right side, 1 hour chart of 2024. And this never happened before is exactly this section here. Just saying. Yeah. It was, I didn't even saw that. Okay, perfect. Even more confirmation. This candle here, which clearly went over this candle here, which clearly, this candle here, clearly went over this candle here. This was a fucking Tuesday. What do you want more? So if we suddenly tomorrow absolutely fucking knife, we know where we are. Yeah. So this landmark and this price action, we are looking for this right here. Yeah. So in the best case, we're doing this. In the best case, we finish this till Friday. If not, we are still doing this till next week-ish. So this would be how it looked like. Yeah. I don't know what news it would be. Yeah. Maybe there isn't even a news. Maybe it's just spy knifing or whatever. Yeah. But this is what I want to see. After that, we can go. Okay. Next one is DJT. And I tell you, don't sleep on that giant. Just saying. For this, I really have to do the whole explanation today because in the last video, I didn't talk about it. For the whole fractal, for DJT, it's just one fractal. We did our A, B, C, a massive lower high, a massive midpoint, and a massive last time to say. Then at the end, we did a little higher low. This here is a little higher low. In the moment this was finished, we got merger news. So we can squeeze now. The thing is, one little thing I really have to say about this. This tiny micro higher low isn't working with TM and lower high. It's way too small to compare to this. So I'm still looking for, we are doing now a big macro higher low, which is ending in the V&A, and then we get the big moves. Big moves to 60, 80, and maybe new all-time highs. But, and that's the big but, this macro higher low is still going to $48. And right now, we are at $13. Just saying. There's a lot of money to be made here. So let's zoom in into this. So we are zoomed in. This is our absolute low, November 21st. And now that the little end starting again, because I show you a stock isn't squeezing from the V. Also, AMC and GME didn't squeeze from the V. Also, DJT didn't squeeze from the V. We made our absolute low. We did a V with a perfect V&A. We even added a little micro higher low, which also ended in a V&A. And in the moment this was finished, merger news, one up. So this is just our A, our little A for the big higher low. Is this A already finished? Yeah. If we take our fib, that's near the 0.618. We bounced. Perfect. This tiny thing here is just the little A already of this big A. Also bounced perfectly at the 618. So what is the next move? Well, next move for this is B, tiny B. And tiny B is at $30. So that would mean, in the best case, you go up somewhere in this range. You take your 0.5 from your A again. This is your pullback target. You come up again near this trend line. You won't break this trend line, in my opinion. You retract here. Do your lower high, midpoint T. And then you fall to your V&A at 1251. So this would be a lower high, your midpoint, your T. To say this, if you look back in the past, the chat tests, the run to the upside in DJT are always violently, extreme quick. So I can easily see latest, no financial advice, March, maybe even already February for this. The pullback, like always in DJT, could take some time. Yeah? So I would only, no advice, but I would only play this to the upside. Wait then for the pullback. Something under 1250 is your buying target. Your buying target for what? Well, the buying target for your big A pullback, big B, pullback, and then maybe breaking all-time highs. But this thing looks fantastic. And I don't want to lure anybody into anything, but the contracts are fucking cheap. Just saying. Okay, next one, Fcel. So here again, the full story, because in the last video it wasn't in. For Fcel, it's a perfect fractal, really perfect. And it's absolutely easy to see. So the IPO of Fcel started in its B. So here is your B peak. This whole thing is your B. And before that, you had your A. Yeah. Just saying that because we will talk about this section in this video. Then we made our C, lower, high, midpoint, massive knife, came up to our T, massive knife to our V. When this finished, our next target would be A near the T line, which is here at 880. And B would be near our B line. Again, I'm saying that always, you won't see a share at 20,000. Just saying, without a split, no. If this company is not doing a split, we will come up here, and this trend line here at 855 will be the line where you reject. Just saying. So now we zoom in into this. So why do I say it's an absolutely perfect tracking a fractal chart? Because it's easy to see. You could even use that as a tutorial to track. You have here, make big T, you fall to your V, your lowest point, you do your higher low under the trend line. This higher low is ending in a beautiful V&A. You're doing a little micro higher low, which is also ending in a beautiful V&A. You break out of your big trend line. You're coming near to your T point, which is also your big A. You're doing a break at retest, which is also a V&A or a 0.618. Perfect. You break out again. This is just a little micro higher low just for this A here. In after hours on December 30, he knifed down to the V&A, bounced immediately off it. So this higher low is also finished. After that, we did a perfect 0.5. So this little thing there could be already our A. And we go. Yeah. Nothing is to say about this anymore than this thing looks fucking finished. To where? What are the next targets? Well, our next target is B. Yeah. Just one thing. And that's a little trap in this stock. So I'm looking for the next run. Landmark is really our run to B. But I will show you in a second where I got this. But the B peak of this B is here. Yeah. This is our B peak. The run to our B peak should happen latest end of March. We should already be here, in my opinion. No financial advice. But this whole thing, till we get to our B peak, could at least take 1 year, maybe even 5 years. That's why it's a little trap, because if you're here, you didn't find your B peak yet. The B peak is back here. So where did I got this? I get this. Well, I get this from here. The last run to our T. It was also, I will show that side by side. So here on the left side is now. Here on the right side is October 2019. We did here also a perfect V. a higher low, a higher low, under the trend line, under the trend line. We broke out. We broke out. We made a pullback. We made a pullback. We made a little higher low. I mean, this time we went a little bit lower, but fine. And then we did the sideways bullshit. This sideways bullshit. It's the same like this sideways bullshit. Yeah. So the next landmark to prove this absolutely right, to see the next move, is a gap up. And I don't say that often, but this gap up should happen tomorrow, this week, next week. Yeah? The only alternative I have for this would be that you are not here, that you would be right now here. That's the only alternative I have. But even with this, you still have this run. And in that case, your target would be still 32 to 54-ish. Yeah. So it would still be great. I mean, okay, if we are here, 60, 70, 80, 90, 108, 68. Just saying. 4 levels. If you break over 10.89 bullish, and I think we would already be in the gap. If you break over 1241, you are over the gap. I don't think we see this. If you're not doing the gap and we're just running, okay, here's a confirmation. If we on any reason still have to do a tiny micro higher low, okay, you would go down to 7.61. Yeah. If you break under 7.28, something is wrong. And if you break under 633, something is really wrong. Yeah, that's the thing. One last thing, because I said this is a weird B and it could take very long. Well, I said at the beginning of this tracking, it's not even such a big stock. It's not even on the 24 hour. Yeah. This is the same movement. Yeah. We would be right here right now. And if you look, so let's say this is the end of the move we are tracking. This took you 2,300 days. Yeah. 6 years. Only this. And we are repeating that shit. And a fractal which is repeating sometimes even double its size. So maybe this takes not 6 years, maybe this takes 12 years. That's why I'm saying you can easily play this move, but no financial advice. If you're going, let's say 40 to 168, get out. Yeah, you don't want to play this. Just saying. Okay, next one, FFAI. So here again, for the full story, I will link the last video at the end of the video. We are only talking about what we did today. So I said last video, I think, or the last meme video, I want to see something today, and we didn't really see something today. For FFAI, for the short term, we had our V in April, we did our higher low. In November, we did the BYND, finished this higher low, and we added a small higher low, which in the best case ended on January 2nd, also with a BYND. Then we added another higher low. And now it gets difficult because this higher low should be finished now. Just saying. Yeah, we are getting into into an area where it gets dangerous. Yeah, as long as we are in this area, fine. Okay, it's just stupid, but fine. If you break under $1, that's bad. Because, okay, you could easily say, why isn't that whole thing a little micro high? Because of this here. Yeah, this, if you look, is the lowest point. So this would be B, this would be C. But where's your A? Your B bottom can't be lower than your A bottom. Can't be. So this wouldn't work. So as long as you're not breaking under $1, everything is fine, and this fucking shit should start going. I really mean that. But if you break under $1, that makes this whole thing wrong. And I think if you break under $1, you go very quick under 94 cents. And if you go under 94 cents, this whole thing is wrong. And then you will make a new all-time low. Just saying. And then we are getting into areas where it's an absolutely shitty EV car company, which is worth nothing, which may be doing a reverse split. Even if you find your V here, you still have to do a big higher low. It would be shitty. For levels, still, as long as you're not breaking $1, you can go any day. Everything over $1.15 is absolutely bullish. And I think everything on over 133 and you're already squeezing. Yeah. Your next target for this is still A at $4, B at $11, and C around $155 to $30, something in this range. And as always, this stock is normally doing its V, higher low, maybe micro higher low, and then you're on. Yeah. And watch the last video because I also showed that this movement is absolutely common. It is doing that every fucking time before a squeeze. The only thing I really still don't want to see dropping under $1. That would be bad. Okay. Next one and last one, BYND. So here also just a small update for the big story. I will link the video. For the full story, we just look what we have done today. So, as always, here I have 3 ways. The absolute most bearish way is that we have here our higher low. Yeah, we have here our higher low. This isn't finished yet, and this whole thing is our higher low. And that means only one thing, that this big thing is just our T. And then we still have to gap fill here. So from 80 to 66 cents. In that case, you really come down and gap fill. Not thinking that yet. For the bullish version, our big higher low from October till November 2025 is finished. And this is just again a little micro higher low, just to the big higher low. And this one ended in a V&A on December 31st. Since then, and here comes the shitty part. Since then, you could look at it 2 ways. First of all, for the bullish way, this is breakout to our A, pullback, breakout retest, perfect. This is just a little micro higher low. And for this, you really have to bounce now. Yeah. Saying really have to bounce now, you have to bounce now. Yeah. Now. You don't want to break under 92 cents. And I mean, you don't want to break under 92 cents and 11 whatever. Yeah, you don't want to make a lower low here. If you're doing a lower low here and going down, then this whole thing is, I mean, whole thing beyond the 30-minute, is just a higher low to this micro higher low. That means this was your C. This is your little B. I mean, it looks absolutely shitty. Yeah. And I really don't want to see it, but always have an alternative. And in that case, I mean, it's not much. Yeah. In that case, you still have to come lower than 87 cents. So the 7.86 is at 86 cents. So how much would that be? That would be 7%. But here you will have to bounce. And then you can go. Your next target, still everything stays the same. Nothing is changing. Doesn't matter if you're taking the absolute bearish version or the absolute bullish version. Your next target is still for A, $20 to $15. And for B, $33. Nothing changed. And it should also be absolutely quick. One last look for levels. So, yeah, everything over 110, $1.10. Every alternative to the downside is gone. If you break under 92 cents and 15, in my opinion, you will go to your 7.8, that is 86 cents. And if you're not bouncing there and you break 81 cents, you will go to 66 cents and get there. I'm tending more to a bullish version still. Yeah. If you bounce here or if you bounce around here, I'm 50-50. I'm not seeing yet the 66 cents. Yeah. Let's see. Okay. Today it was a quite short video. Just to do a little update video only. If you want, write it into my comments. If you want always the full story, I can do that. Just write it in the comments if you want to see that. As always, if you liked it, leave a like. The explanation video for the method I put here. For the full stories, I put the video here. And if you want to see more, leave a like. I leave an abo. Let's see if we squeeze this week or next week.